relax, close your eyes, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word that literally means community of truth. You could call it just spiritual community, where two or more people who are on the path of awakening to truth come together to share their journeys. We have a satsang and a gathering where we strengthen one another exponentially. The world is in dire need of transformation these days. I'm sure you don't need to be convinced. We have created a global culture of competition, conflict, and war that needs to flip into a whole new global civilization rooted in cooperation instead of competition, harmony instead of conflict, and peace instead of war. In order for that to happen, the collective consciousness of humanity needs to flower into love, unconditional love and compassion, out of fear and hatred and egocentrism. That's happening one person at a time as more and more of us are awakening and reaching out and connecting with one another in spiritual community. It's sending ripples out into the collective consciousness. And we believe that one day the collective itself will shift. In the meantime, I'm glad you're here tonight. You're basking in right now, soaking in a transmission of divine grace we call the Flowering Heart Blessing. Hridaya Vikasa Diksha would be the Sanskrit translation of Flowering Heart Blessing. So why not just stick with Flowering Heart Blessing, right? It's a direct transmission of divine awakened consciousness, love, light, and it catalyzes in the receiver the process of awakening. It melts blocks, it hastens the journey, it takes an awakened being deeper into awakening because there's just no end. When the divine told us to stop sharing, to start sharing the Flowering Heart Blessing was about 10 years ago. And the divine showed us that we should give it away free, and that we should tell people that when you've received it, you're receiving it right now, you're fully initiated and activated to share it. So if you relate to and connect with this transmission, with this energy, with this presence, just invite the divine to pour it through you right now and join us in sending the flowering heart blessing to everyone who tunes in with us tonight and everyone who watches this video in the future. Which may be a trick if someone's trying to do that in Vimeo tonight, because I set this to stream not only to Facebook Live, but in Vimeo I use the link for the Interfaith Communion with the Cosmic Christ, not the weekly satsang. I put a little note there, if people manage to get there and read it, click this link tonight. Otherwise, we'll see if the divine leads them to find it. But if you tried to get us on Vimeo and you couldn't find where it was, that's why. And in the chat at the bottom, I did put the right link for tonight. Yesterday was our monthly Interfaith Communion, and the subject of the teaching was receiving divine gifts of health, prosperity, and joy. So if you could use a little tuning up in the area of health, healing, prosperity and abundance and joy, you could watch that. I think it would bless you. We had a good time, I think. So, any other announcements? I don't think so.
Like your loves if you're here?
Ah, yes. Michael Christopher already got that. But if you join us, whether you're here tonight or you just watch this video during the next week or whenever you watch it, give us, if on Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up or a heart or the emoji that reflects your feelings. And we go in at the end and we'll see your name and send you special blessings and hugs. And of course, if you just enter something into the chat, we'll see that. If you do manage to find us on Vimeo, I don't think you can leave comments on that particular link, because that's for the Interfaith Communion. But anyway, the purpose, beyond us just landing here and the blessings beginning to flow, is to take questions and answers for the next part of the satsang on the spiritual journey, questions that you might have about awakening, God consciousness, meditation, pre-life, afterlife, alternative lives, anything that you've been puzzling over or pondering that you'd like more light. When you ask questions, hey, Robert Reister, it nudges the divine to pour inspiration into me and Suzanne that we get to share with you, and it helps all of us. Because even though we're all different and our journeys are different, there are parallels. We go through some of the same conflicts, roadblocks, plateaus, and breakthroughs. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us all to grow in our understanding as well. And we'll be doing some much more, much more powerful, but even more powerful,
More focused.
Focused blessings later on, and conclude with the eye blessing, which is very special. So look inside and ask if there's a question you might throw out there tonight that would stimulate the discussion. And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to share 12 quotes about the power of forgiveness. And I thought this was really moving, this particular presentation. I draw these quotes from a website called inspiringquotes.com. A group of authors writes timely and inspired brief articles on a subject, and then they share quotes from inspired and influential people from throughout history that shed light on that topic. So this article tonight and this list of quotes was compiled by our regular friend, Joyce Chen, a writer, editor, and community builder based in Seattle, Washington. And we really enjoyed a lot of her articles. let this one move you. From the time we're young, we're taught the importance of saying please, thank you, and sorry. But learning how to say I forgive you is a trickier beast. Because forgiveness requires more than just saying the words out loud. It requires us to make a conscious decision to choose to move on, to embrace the possibilities of the future rather than focus on the negativity of the present. The key here is that forgiveness isn't really about a person's actions or hurtful behavior so much as it is about your own peace of mind and self-care. According to the Mayo Clinic, deciding to forgive someone is actually beneficial to your health, helping to lower blood pressure and the risk of heart attack, while also reducing levels of anxiety, depression, and stress. Practicing forgiveness can also help you develop more empathy and compassion toward others, and ultimately strengthen your relationships. As writer and illustrator David Small once said, quote, "To understand someone else as a human being, I think, is about as close to real forgiveness as one can get," unquote. Some of history's greatest thinkers have cited forgiveness as a key component to reaching your full potential in life. Below are 12 quotes meant to encourage forgiveness in tough times and change the way we view hurdles in our relationships. So here we go. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that prisoner was you. Lewis B. Smedes. For me, forgiveness and compassion are always linked. How do we hold people accountable for wrongdoing and yet at the same time remain in touch with their humanity enough to believe in their capacity to be transformed? That's rich. Bell hooks. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. Oscar Wilde, no surprise. Forgiveness says you are given another chance to make a new beginning. Desmond Tutu. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us, and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Martin Luther King Jr. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Mahatma Gandhi. Forgiving isn't something you do for someone else. It's something you do for yourself. It's saying, you're not important enough to have a stranglehold on me. It's saying, you don't get to trap me in the past. I'm worthy of a future. Jodi Picoult. To err is human. To forgive, divine. Alexander Pope. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. Abraham Lincoln. It is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself to forgive. Forgive everybody. Maya Angelou. Take forgiveness slowly. Don't blame yourself for being slow. Peace will come. Yoko Ono. Forgiveness is a strange thing. It can sometimes be easier to forgive our enemies than our friends. It can be hardest of all to forgive people we love. Fred Rogers. And that was that.
Beautiful.
We're just talking sort of about that today in the context of someone we know and someone very hard to forgive sometimes. But it was that quote that said about, let's see if I can find it real quickly. Yes. For me, forgiveness and compassion are always linked to how do we hold people accountable for wrongdoing and yet, at the same time, remain in touch with their humanity enough to believe in their capacity to be transformed. And I always choose, no matter how annoying someone is or how much they've hurt me, or how I don't need to trust them at all, or have anything to do with some people because they're damaging and dangerous. But I always want to hold in my heart the capacity or the ability to believe in their capacity to be transformed. Because if I cast them in stone, I'm casting myself in stone. I'm holding myself back as well, and I find myself in a loop. So
I find it interesting too, how many references to enemies there were. And I'm just looking forward to the day where everybody realizes that we're one, and what you're seeing in them that you think is their enemy is really just a part of you that also needs healing. Otherwise, you would just hold them with compassion and unconditional love.
This came up in the book club yesterday too. I said, but we need to have enough common sense to duck. Get out of the way when the bull is charging toward you. I may have compassion for the bull. I may not need a red cape and a sword to slay them, but I am not dumb enough to, let down my guard and not get out of the way. So there's a balancing act here. But ultimately, this is one of the qualities of the divine: unconditional love and compassion for all beings. Unconditional means just that. There are no conditions to true love. And we may be hurt, a relationship may be beyond repair, but that doesn't mean that we can't forgive. It's a really tricky beast, as Joyce Chen said. Okay. And I see that profound reflection produced absolutely no questions or responses. Yep. Oh, very interesting. We'll give you a few more minutes, and we'll check inside and see if there are any questions you haven't asked that we want to answer. Actually, the discussion we just had is pretty profound.
Yeah.
So, and in the past, we've often, when this has come up in the satsang, discussed an idea that we were presented in India, actually, that our inability to forgive people is often rooted in the pain that we're still experiencing. So that's why I loved what Yoko Ono said. Go slow. and don't beat yourself up for being slow. Peace will come. But what we learned in India to do was to stop resisting feeling our grief, our pain, our sense of betrayal, whatever the hurt is, to let ourselves, instead of trying to push it under the carpet and not feel it, because that's the first thing humans are generally wired to do, is try to escape feeling pain. I don't want to feel pain. But anything we resist will persist. So that's why, and I noticed this because I learned years ago the importance of deciding to forgive people, and yet I still found that when I saw them in public, I wanted to run the other way. Or it brought up this painful memory, and it triggered that buried pain in me. And I began to feel that it wasn't really forgiven, because you've heard the expression, to forgive is to forget. Well, not really. It's not to forget, but it's to be free from the agony. And I realized I wasn't in some cases. And so I've learned to face and embrace and experience the fullness of that charge. We call emotions charges because emotion is energy. It's emotional energy. And when a charge comes up, if we bury it, the charge remains and will be triggered again and again and again and again until one day it's ripe and it fully comes up and discharges. Now that doesn't mean that the memory is gone or not unpleasant if we reflect on it, but that we're not bearing this emotional burden, this charge. So, powerful stuff. Why what, Michael? Michael Christopher's question for you, Michael. Why?
Why? You're such a rascal.
As well, you know, I'm often known to say why is usually the wrong question. It isn't always. I mean, because I was just discussing why we bear pain on the inside for things that are years behind us. Why we're having trouble forgiving someone. And so sometimes asking why is helpful, but only because the answer shows us how to change, how to get from where we're stuck or where we are to where we want to go. And so I often tell people that the better question, the important question is not why did this happen, why do I feel that way, why this and why that, but how do we change it? How do we transform it? I mean, why is the world like locked in violent hatred and fear of one another and building all these walls and bombs? And why did we get so crazy?
That's also a how question.
we could, but the important question is how do we get past that and change it? And that's what this is all about. Ekaterina says, I am translating to my boyfriend because he's proud of being proud. Wait, because he's proud of being proud is like feeling strong because of being unforgiving. Oh, well, you know, I know a little bit of Espanol, and I've lived in Mexico, so I know the culture a bit, and I know that orgullo is, the Spanish word for pride, is actually a good thing. It's often used as, you need to have pride in yourself. You need to have pride in your country.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of my children. I'm proud of you for asking that question. So I get that pride when it's healthy and clear can be up to a point a good quality. But we shouldn't be proud of our unforgiving nature, per se. We should be proud of our ability to forgive. You should be proud of being strong. That's good. That's a wonderful quality. Sometimes it's difficult for we who are strong to be soft and gentle when it's called for. It's one of the fruits of the Holy Spirit, gentleness, forbearance, and gentleness. Because, as we've already looked at tonight, unforgiveness, well, wasn't it Desmond Tutu who said unforgiveness?
It's like taking poison and waiting for the other one to die.
Yeah, that's right. Holding on to it actually weakens us because it seems like it's strength, but it's not the good kind of strength. And it damages us. So even Joyce Chen, the author that we read tonight, was saying that the Mayo Clinic was saying that forgiveness lowers blood pressure, it relieves stress and depression, and helps you to avoid heart failure and heart disease. So there are physical ramifications to holding on tightly to our judgment. And it's not just unforgiveness, there's judgment. We need discernment. I mean, I can discern that when a wicked, an evil person is preying on and hurting the innocent, that's bad. That's evil. But judgment is mine, saith the Lord. In the Greek language, it's interesting because the same word for discernment comes from the same root as judgment and to pass judgment and punishment. And they're very different. I mean, because discernment is to be clear about what's wrong and we should separate ourselves from it and that we need to take action to change it. Judgment is judging the quality of a person's soul. And then even further, judgment is like, I think you need to be punished. And the worst of it leads to vigilantism, where we take the law into our own hands. So it's an interesting discussion. We don't have time to get into it. It would be fun to bring out the Greek words that are so close that you can see they all come from the word we get crisis and crime from. Same thing. But that's also where the Greeks get the word for discernment, which is a wonderful and powerful quality. So be proud of your discernment. Be proud that you can see and take a stand where evil is concerned. Work on the angle of letting go of the judgment and the unforgiveness because, well, it only hurts you, not the one that you're holding that against. Any other questions? Come on now. I know this one's a sticky wicket because I know that many of us that are here tonight have experienced real hurt at the hands of other people. Some of us have carried trauma. A lot of us have been traumatized by abuse, whether it was from a parental or an elder figure or someone in the church or government or law enforcement, and those wounds we still carry with us. Part of the healing process is to forgive our oppressors. And not forget, not be stupid. Fool me once, shame on me. No, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, because I should learn from it. So. What else? How about joy? Harping back to yesterday, one of the things we looked at was what joy actually is and the difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is an interesting word because it comes from the same root as happening. We're happy when good things are happening. We're unhappy when good things are unhappening. So basically, our happiness is rooted in external conditions, and it's fragile. The difference is that joy is an enduring inner state that comes from within, not from external circumstances. Joy can be present at the same time as sadness, at the same time as other negative feelings. You could be hurt, you could be sad, and you could still have joy. How is that possible? Because true joy is the presence of the divine. Psalm 16, verse 11, in thy presence is fullness of joy. Which means, in the presence of God is all joy. Joy is the divine nature. I mean, God is love, and when we experience that transcendental love, which we've all got deep inside of us, it releases this strength in us called joy. And you know what's so great about joy? I mean, the joy of the Lord is your strength, and in God's presence is fullness of joy, but joy fulfills the longing of your heart. I mean, you may think that new car or that new boat's going to make you happy, or getting that guy or getting that girl or getting that job or whatever it is. That's all happiness or unhappiness when you don't get it or lose it. But joy's different. Joy is something that comes, in India they would say it's causeless. They talk about causeless joy because all this rotten stuff's going on out here in your outer world, and yet there's this feeling of joy that comes from the presence within your heart. And that's what your heart's really longing for, not the better job, not more money, not the lover you want or the house or the whatever. What we really want, as it turns out, is this almost ineffable quality called joy, jubilation. And that fulfills the empty place inside, the longing of our hearts that would cause people to use drugs or alcohol or other addictive behaviors. It's the joy of the divine presence that actually satisfies all of those longings, and the result is peace. Love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, and on it goes. But there are all these fruits of releasing the love of God inside. And the first fruit of love is that we discover that we have the capacity to feel compassion for people who are absolutely annoying, for people who are unlovely. And yet, we have the capacity to believe in the possibility of their transformation, but to love them unconditionally right now. And that releases joy. And that makes us long-suffering and patient and kind with people that we couldn't be patient or kind with in the past because they were so darned annoying. Anyway, if you want to look into that subject a little more, the recording from yesterday, the Interfaith Communion with the Cosmic Christ. I agree. Yekaterina says, I loved the joy part of your speech. A speech? Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, a preacher friend of mine said he walked out of church on Sunday morning after pouring out his heart, and his wife said, that was a great speech, honey. It was like, but I know what you mean. Thank you very much. Ekaterina also writes, centering prayer brings me joy. Absolutely. Because in centering prayer, you just, whatever comes up, you don't try to stop it, but you just keep letting go of every feeling, every thought, every sensation, emotionally, mentally in your body, and keep returning to the presence. And since some of us start out not feeling the presence or knowing what it looks like or how to get there, people use a symbol. It could be a word, Some people have a picture, like of a sun shining or whatever works for you, but you keep letting go of whatever you're feeling, even physical sensations, and returning to the presence within you and just consenting and letting go. And yeah, it brings joy. It brings you deeply into the presence. Michael Christopher writes, I get a feeling of joy every time that I know Suzanne has made baked goods. I'm willing to accept that. Part of me wanted to say that's happiness. But actually, there's so much love in what Suzanne does. I think it does bring joy.
I see maybe chocolate chip cookies for Wednesday.
So,
zucchini bread.
So one of the ways that we experience joy is by diving into the love of God in meditation or prayer and just resting in the presence like Katrina was talking about. But another way that we experience joy is when we allow the love of God to flow through us in the service of others. So Suzanne lets that inner joy flow through her in making delicious cookies. And the best vegan broccoli soup anyone's ever tasted today, just today. And that joy that she expresses, the joy of the Lord flowing through her in making that, gets into the food. And the people that eat it, they feel joy. What was that movie, like Water for Chocolate?
Yeah.
That explores the idea,
right,
how the love and the faith, the magic,
the emotions,
and the emotion of the one who's preparing the food.
Yeah. Like she was crying because her sister was marrying the love of her life, and she was crying while she was making the wedding cake, and everybody that ate it started crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So you can transmit negative energies as well, and that's why it's best when you're preparing food, choose a good attitude. Do it for love. Do it because you love to cook, or you're cooking it for someone you love, or you're cooking it for someone who's sick or hungry, and you're showing love through it. What's not good is to be angry and filled with anger and just take it out on those vegetables you're chopping, because then that anger will transmit. So it works both ways. And I learned years and years ago in a spiritual community I lived in that to keep the kitchen, the energy and the spirit in the kitchen very clear. I mean, sure you can talk, sure you can laugh, but keep it joyful and loving and positive, because that's going to go into the food and into everyone who consumes it. Yeah, that's good. Yes, Katrina says, Mexican movie, yes.
Yes.
It is a very, very good one.
It is a very good one.
We love it. It's been so many years since I've seen it. I wonder if we can pull it up.
Maybe.
That would be fun. Well, I think that's it.
Yep.
I mean, for questions and answers. Okay, then. So, you could close your eyes and open your hearts and invoke the divine presence within you. And how do you do that? You just invite the presence who lives within you at the center of your being to flood you. See, the divine isn't a million miles over your head out in space. The divine is not outside of you at all. Well, I mean, the divine is everywhere. But your most direct and immediate connection with the divine presence, which is the source of joy and healing and peace, is within the center of your own heart. At the center of your being, your true essence is one with the divine itself. And there's not just a drop of the divine in you, the entire ocean of God is present within you. And it loves you. God loves you so deeply. so fully. It's often likened to the love of a parent for a child, especially a mother's love. And you know, that's just to help us have some idea what it might be like. Because God's love is infinitely indescribable, inconceivable, and beyond even the love of human parents for their children. The divine loves you without any strings attached, even if you stumble and fall and make mistakes. The divine already knew you were going to stumble and fall. The divine knows everything you're ever going to do. And still, the love is unchanged. This God who lives within you wants to free you from suffering and pain and bring you home. Wants to dissolve that feeling of separation that many of us carry inside, feeling distant from God. Who's God? Feeling distant from others. All feelings of separation are rooted in the illusion of the mind that there is any separation. Everything is one. The divine wants to awaken you to oneness. So just receive the blessing of the presence. It causes your heart to flower with love, joy, peace, and all the other wonderful fruits of an awakened and enlightened spirit. You don't need to beg. You don't need to jump through hoops. You don't need to become better or holier. What you need is just to open your heart and receive right now. And the divine will take you into its arms and draw you into the center, where there's love and joy and peace and healing. And it will begin to shine out of your heart into your soul, your mind, your emotions, to clear away the painful memories, the wrong thinking that tends to obsess us, and it will inspire us with God-given plans and thoughts and feelings. It will shine out into our bodies to heal disease and physical pain. It will shine out through your spirit, your soul, and your body into your relationships to heal them and make them right. It will shine out through your life into the world, and it will touch others and awaken the process of transformation in them. So just relax and let go and breathe the life of God. Drink the rivers of joy and love that are pouring out to you. Keep receiving more and more. There's no end to it. It's a gift. Just receive. It's not earned or deserved. It's just received with gratitude. Lift up your hands with your palms facing forward and let us invite the divine to pour the flowering heart blessing through all of us to each other. As it flows through you, it transforms you and heals you. As it flows through you out to the others in the circle, it flows through them back to you. As we awaken together into oneness. Not even be aware of what the divine is doing in us and through us tonight. So much happens that's invisible to us. So just take it, accept it, and in your own way offer gratitude to the divine presence. Now you could just rest your hands in your lap and when you're ready, open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes. That's all you need to do during the light meditation. During this transmission, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of love and grace and light from the divine for you. It pours through every fiber of our being, especially through our eyes, the windows of the soul. You don't need to do anything but just keep looking and receive. And the light will stream out through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts, causing the light of awakening and the fires of divine love to burn brighter and brighter within you. Just keep looking and relax. meditate with us for a few moments as the grace settles within. Keep meditating as long as you like, or find a place nearby to lie in Shavasana. That's a yoga posture where you just find a comfortable place to lie on your back. And close your eyes with your arms loosely at your sides, your palms open, turned upward. And just let yourself dissolve in the presence with gratitude. Love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you. Namaste.